Today in the news we have interesting chart about the wage growth versus property boom within the last 10 years. So let's look at it and start with NSW since I'm in Sydney. So we can see that the wages increase as much as the Sydney units, actually a bit lower than it because we have a 26.28% for the wages and 27.42% for the units. However, if you look at the rest of NSW units, it went way higher by 90%. We've got the Sydney houses that are going well, 91%, and the rest of the house almost 100%. It shows that it's kind of impossible to afford buying a house or an apartment, and that you should not actually buy an apartment because you end up losing money. If I remember well, down Melbourne, someone 5 years ago bought an apartment for 650k and sold it this year, so 5 years later, for about 500k. He lost money, and of course on top of this you have all the levies he paid during those years and etc. That's why we say when we buy a unit, it's buying into a strata nightmare. Now let's look at Victoria. At Victoria, you can see the wages are a bit above the cost of a unit. However, the house's price is way higher, it's at 60%, which is better than NSW. Queensland, the wages increase better than Victoria and NSW because we are at 27%. I remind you that Victoria is 27 and NSW is 26. So Queensland is doing well in terms of wages. However, the unit price and houses is increasing crazy. So it's still higher than our wages increase, which makes life difficult for people wanting to buy a house or a unit. In South Australia, it's about the same as everywhere, as you can see. The wages is also about 27%, and it's everything looking the same. Western Australia is way better. Increase of wages is by about 24%, but you can see that the increase for units at least is lower, so it makes it more affordable for people living in WA to buy a unit. However, in terms of houses, it's a bit above, not that much, but still it's above. Tasmania, everything is above, but the wages increased by 30%, which is quite good. Northern Territory, you can see the wages increase, all right, 25%, but houses and units still all under it, which means it's way more affordable to buy a house or a unit in Northern Territory. As ACT, everything is above, and the wages increased by 25%. So that should give you an insight on why it's very hard even for someone born here in Australia to end up buying a house or a unit, and also it gives you an insight of why it's better to buy a house than a unit.